Hey everyone, have you ever wondered how the Eastern Front became one of the most brutal battlegrounds in history? What made the battles there so devastating, and why did Germany ultimately lose? Today, we're diving deep into the harrowing conflicts that marked the brutal onset of World War II on the Eastern Front. Get ready to explore the chilling realities of war, the fierce determination of soldiers, and the turning points that changed the course of history. Let's set the stage for this monumental conflict. World War II was raging across Europe, and Germany had its eyes firmly fixed on the East. Driven by a thirst for expansion and resources, Adolf Hitler believed that conquering the Soviet Union would provide Germany with vital agricultural and industrial wealth, while also helping to realize his twisted vision of a greater Germany. The invasion, known as Operation Barbarossa, commenced on June 22, 1941. This massive undertaking saw German forces launch a surprise attack, employing blitzkrieg tactics that had previously proven effective in Western Europe. But how did these strategies falter on the Eastern Front? What challenges did the Germans face that they hadn't anticipated? As the German army advanced, initial encounters with Soviet forces were marked by rapid successes. The Wehrmacht, equipped with advanced tanks and artillery, swiftly penetrated Soviet defenses, capturing vast territories in just weeks. But the Soviets were not passive. They regrouped and employed scorched earth tactics, destroying resources as they retreated and preparing for a prolonged struggle. Why did the Soviets choose such extreme measures? The answer lies in their fierce desire to protect their homeland at all costs. They understood that every inch of ground lost could mean more suffering for their people. The harsh Russian summer soon transitioned into a brutal winter, catching German soldiers unprepared for the extreme cold. The Battle of Smolensk emerged as one of the first significant confrontations, where German forces faced fierce resistance. Despite being outgunned, the Soviets fought valiantly for their homeland, a fierce determination that would define the conflict. The psychological impact of these battles was profound. The Soviets were fighting not just for land, but for their very existence. As the fighting continued, the German command underestimated the resilience of the Soviet forces. Many in the Wehrmacht believed that the Soviets would collapse under the pressure, but this was a grave miscalculation. The Soviet Union was vast, and its people were willing to endure tremendous hardship. The Germans advanced deep into Soviet territory, but they were stretched thin, and their supply lines became increasingly vulnerable. Now let's discuss a pivotal moment on the Eastern Front, the Battle of Stalingrad. What made this battle so critical? It was more than just a military engagement. It marked a crucial turning point in the war. The city became a symbol of Soviet resilience, and the fighting was intensely brutal. Initially confident, German troops found themselves entrenched in urban warfare, battling snipers, artillery, and a relentless Soviet counteroffensive. The winter of 1942 was particularly harsh, with supplies dwindling and morale plummeting. The encirclement of the German Sixth Army became inevitable, leading to their surrender in February 1943. Why was this defeat so significant? It shattered German morale and marked the beginning of a shift in the war's momentum. The loss at Stalingrad not only cost the Germans a significant number of troops, but also forced them to confront the reality that they were not invincible. The Soviet counteroffensive at Stalingrad was meticulously planned, showcasing their ability to adapt and learn from previous mistakes. The Soviets utilized their knowledge of the terrain and the determination of their soldiers to turn the tide. This battle demonstrated that the Eastern Front was a different kind of war, one where sheer willpower could sometimes outweigh technological superiority. In the aftermath of these fierce battles, the dynamics of the war began to change. The loss at Stalingrad forced the Germans to re-evaluate their strategies. Energized by their victory, the Soviets launched a series of offensives that gradually pushed German forces back toward their own borders. The brutal realities of the Eastern Front weighed heavily on German military leadership. The once seemingly invincible Wehrmacht now faced a determined and resilient adversary. The psychological toll on German troops was significant. The horrors they witnessed and the grueling conditions they endured left lasting scars. How did these experiences affect their resolve? The answer lies in the profound impact of witnessing such brutality firsthand. Many soldiers returned home with deep psychological wounds, grappling with what they had seen and done. The Soviets, fueled by their victory at Stalingrad, continued to gain ground. The Battle of Kursk in 1943 further exemplified this shift, marking one of the largest tank battles in history. The Soviets were no longer on the defensive, they were taking the fight to the Germans. This shift in momentum would eventually lead to the liberation of vast territories and the eventual push into Eastern Europe. So, what lessons can we draw from this brutal beginning to World War II on the Eastern Front? The initial successes of the German army quickly devolved into a nightmare. The harsh Russian winter, fierce Soviet resistance, and strategic miscalculations by Hitler all contributed to a catastrophic turn of events. The battles fought in those early months laid the groundwork for a protracted conflict that would endure for several more years. The Eastern Front was not merely a theater of war, it was a testament to human endurance and the horrific realities of combat. Why is it important to remember these events? Understanding the past helps us comprehend the complexities of war and the resilience of the human spirit. The sacrifices made during this period remind us of the cost of conflict and the importance of striving for peace. Now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these early battles of the Eastern Front? Were you aware of the scale of brutality faced by the German soldiers? Share your comments below. If you enjoyed this exploration of history, don't forget to check out my other videos for more insights. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's continue our journey through history together.